Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, I've got an interesting one for you tonight. This one has a little bit of strategy, or it could be betrayal. I don't really know. I want to know what you guys think in the comments field below. But essentially, what we're talking about here is one of the main gun rights advocacy groups just came out and wrote an amicus brief, which is a friend of the court brief, supporting brief of basically the abortionist doctors in Texas, which is kind of in conflict with what their traditional stance is. And that's what I want to bring to you. I'm going to lay this out. You guys let me know. Everything's linked in the description box below for your review. But let me know, if do you think this is a betrayal of the ideals or is this strategy? I'm going to lay both out. You let me know, because I'll be honest, I'm still on the fence a little bit. I don't exactly have a perfect answer. But like I said, hopefully you guys will help me out with that. But let's dive into this, because this is from theblaze.com, okay? Major gun rights group joins abortion advocates in protest of Texas pro-life law. Now, of course, that's the Texas law that has individuals ratting on each other and basically getting a bounty for anyone committing an abortion in Texas. Okay? That's been ad nauseum discussed. You guys can look that up by yourself if you want more details. In a surprise development last week, an influential gun rights group sided with abortion advocates in protest of Texas's new 6-week abortion ban. Now, what's interesting about this is, yes, they are influential. These are the guys that were responsible for the assault weapons ban being overturned in California. These guys are not small fries, which is why I kind of raise an eyebrow, and there might be some strategy to this. I understand how it looks on the surface, but let's dive deeper, really get into that why like we always do. The Firearms Policy Coalition filed an amicus brief in support of abortion providers in a legal challenge to the new law, arguing that the legislation sets a dangerous precedent that could potentially be exploited to limit constitutional rights, Bloomberg Law reported. Now that's getting into what we talked about when this law first came out. Remember, this was all about an article from Alan Dershowitz saying, hey, if the right can do this with abortion in Texas, we can do this with gun control in the left states. That was the whole point, the whole premise. And we've seen it's in bits of it. But now, this is what I think they're going after. Again, let me know what you guys think. That unique approach has angered abortion advocates both in the state and across the country, and now has attracted opposition from a gun rights group that is usually supportive of conservative causes. Now, of course, again, they're talking about the Texas abortion bounty law is what I really call it. But listen to what the FPC says, and this starts to lay out a little bit, and I'm going to tell you what I think is happening. The approach used by Texas to avoid pre-enforcement review of its restriction on abortion and its delegation of enforcement to private litigants could just as easily be used by other states to restrict First and Second Amendment rights, or, indeed, virtually any settled or debated constitutional right, Representative Counsel Eric Jaff wrote in the brief on behalf of the FPC. That's where I think this lies. I think this is a strategy move. I'm not offering you an opinion on it. I'm just kind of reporting what it is and what my analysis is. I think that this is a strategy move because, as we mentioned on this channel, if you go down the road of putting a bounty on somebody who either provides or gets an abortion, then you can also put a bounty on someone who buys or sells a gun. It's kind of like that wishy-washy gray area, which is dangerous. But here's something else. There's another piece of math here, and this is where I think it ultimately comes down to strategy. The jockeying comes as the Supreme Court prepares to hear arguments on a separate state abortion ban out of Mississippi that could also have major implications on abortion precedent in America. Now, if you guys are not familiar, there's another case going forward from Mississippi to the Supreme Court. It's actually a hardline law that puts a ban week on abortion, like an actual term date, like a date in the pregnancy. But this right here, this is what I think is happening. Like I said, you guys can let me know if you agree or disagree. I think that the FPC is joining in on the the abortion providers side of this because it can be used against First and Second Amendment rights later on down the road. They're sacrificing a battle now to win the war long because the Mississippi law is going to the Supreme Court anyway, and that's also why the higher courts haven't taken up the Texas law. Supreme Court didn't because Mississippi is already on the docket. I think this is a lot of strategy. I think there's a lot of finagling going on here, and that's why the FPC is coming out, because they're playing the long game and not the short. Now, that's just my opinion. That could be far off base. I'm trying not to interject my personal feelings on it, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Until tomorrow morning on the Bullet Points, I'm Braden. See you later.